Good morning, everybody. How y'all been? I just realized I have to the display capture the Discord chat thing. Y'all can't see it, but I'm sure you guys can hear the people that are in the chat. So, how y'all doing? There we go. There it is. All right. Let's get everything settled down, and yeah, pop in and good morning, Robert, Trail Dust, War Tree, and you're in the chat too.
Morning, yep.
Yeah, morning, Mick Chu, how you doing? Jeff Kren, Shane Lalonde, Bor Tagov, Mountain Home Forge, Bloobs. No, I'm not down. Yeah, that was horribly horrible. I got home, so I set up to be away from YouTube for a couple days over the weekend 2 weeks ago. Had a wedding to go to in Chicago. Kind of let you guys know about that, and then I got home Monday, and there was a crew out on the side of the road by me, and they were installing a main line down the street, like replacing a main line down the street, and they hit and cut our line, and didn't fix it, like didn't know it. Hey, Eric, and so it's like that from there it was all bureaucratic BS trying to get Mediacom to come and fix it. And they said, oh, no, we didn't cut a line. We've got to come and check your modem. It's your modem. No, it's not the modem, blah, blah, blah. I can physically see where it's cut. Can you guys come and fix it? We're not allowed to touch their lines under penalty. So, it was something I could have gone and spent 5 minutes fixing up and not allowed to. And, we'll be out there Friday to take a look. And it's like, And so full week without internet, the boss, on the phone yelling at them about it. And freaking went through the weekend. And I kind of got used to not having internet, but it sucked. Monday, Jay got on the phone with them, and it's like, yeah, this needs to happen, blah, blah, blah. And they they had a guy come over and take a look and be like, all right, yeah, we're going to run a new line. And then Jay started getting emails from them saying, oh, well, we can't run a temp line because it's a 4-lane highway. That's not, that is. And we can't go underground because of this, and that. We can't run an aerial because, and it's like, all you guys need to do is go, done, And so they scheduled a work order to replace the line for Thursday or Friday. And Friday morning when the work order came in through the crews for Mediacom, the guys who actually cut it recognized the address, came over here, apologized, fixed it, and left. And it's like, so that's what we were telling them. That's all it needed. So I have internet. Let me see. Bloobs finished his sculpture. Hey, Paul Orchard. Let me see. How do, John Jude? What's up? 3 inches of snow, but it's still summer. Come on.
Yeah.
So how's everybody in the chat doing? How's everybody in the voice chat doing? Solbert, I haven't actually spoken with you in a couple weeks now because of all this stuff. I miss you guys.
Yeah, man, I am doing fantastic this morning. Just got off of work about an hour ago. Topped off a 108-hour work week. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, the Discord chats have all been surprisingly quiet with you not having internet. It's like every Discord chat or server we're in just shut down, waiting for you to get your internet back.
Right. Yeah, like everything shut down. Yeah.
Week for technical issues. Some of you might have noticed I'm not as active in the chats that I'm normally in, and that's because my other phone, my regular phone, I have a Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus that has the black screen of death issue. So I've had to add that into the Samsung repair mob to be fixed. So I'm on a temporary phone that is an absolute nightmare to use. So yeah, that's been my week. I'm still waiting to get that back.
Hey,
Right.
speaking of which, Adam, is it like, say, because I don't, I got rid of all of that nonsense a month or so ago. Are you reachable? Like, if I had a question about something or something like that, if I sent you a DM in Discord, would you get that, or would it be a week or something like that?
A week or something like that. If the best way to get hold of me at the moment is through my Speargrass Forge Facebook, sending a DM through that would be the easiest way, or emailing
That was
Speargrass
my
Forge.
point being, I no longer have a Facebook, so I mean, that was kind of the reason for that. I was just wondering.
Yeah, emailing Speargrass Forge. For those in Australia, emailing Speargrass Forge or the Facebook or Instagram direct message for Speargrass Forge is the easiest way to get hold of me at the moment, until I get my other phone back, and then. But on that note, I've now sketched out where I'm going to put my lean-to for my temporary workshop so I can get something done because I'm still dying.
Are you itching? Are you itching to light a fire or what?
Right.
Oh, I'm more than itching to light a fire. I'm looking at places that I can do it that aren't safe at the moment. So it's kind of like I have to do something.
Right.
Howdy, Robert. What is she up to now, Michael? What's up for the people? Chewy, how you doing, man? Sorry, I just heard you guys start breathing, so I figured I'd say hi to the people who just showed up. And I'd like to say also that, for those who don't do Facebook and for those who want to be a part of the chats and share pictures in the Discord and everything, I sent the link through the chat. All you have to do is join, accept the rules, and that allows you to post. Like, there's like a little click here to accept the rules or something like that. And basic rules are don't be a dick. That allows you access to the Forge chat. So it's a good Facebook alternative. I also am pulling away from Facebook. I'm not getting rid of it, but I'm not relying on it nearly as much. So, that being said, I heard you guys say something and I was going to say it, but I woke up a little bit late today, so this is like my second hour of wake up. This is where I would normally start socializing, but still be a little confusing. You can ask these guys. When I first jumped into the chat, it was like, words don't make sense no more. Words are just letters smashed together. They don't have to make sense.
Kind of how it is for me.
I'm on a regular day.
It's a regular day.
Yeah. So
Yamez, I'm just kind of curious. What did you do all week with no internet? I mean, like, how did you fill your time?
well, I was in the shop a lot, and I've got about. I obviously couldn't sit there in the only signal I have or had was either while I was at work, because some places I have a signal and able to jump on, and in order for me to get internet while I'm at home, I would have to walk out to the street and stand there at the corner of the highway and snag. I would get 2 bars.
The middle of the road live stream.
Right. Well, not even enough to live stream.
Oh.
So it's like
and now, just imagine if you were doing that wearing your hubcap shirt, huh?
Right. I have it. Give me a sec. Yeah. Hold on. So yeah.
Did I drop off, or what's going on here?
Yeah, I think Yamas dropped off. Like I was saying the same thing. So it's not us. It was Yamas.
Yeah, Yama's my AFK.
All right. Apparently, I don't have it available to me right now.
Still in the washer, eh?
Still somewhere. I had a issue that I basically had to like tear my room apart, and I got stuff kind of not where I put it, and as disorganized as I am, there is a disorganized organization, and that disorganized organization got all thrown out of whack because I have my superworms that I feed to my girls. I had just bought about 2 to 3 dozen, and they escaped, all of them, and I've been finding worms, the superworms, little larvae, all throughout my room, and I've been picking them up and putting them back in the thing, and I've only got about 10, or I only caught about 10, so in my room there's larvae for the darkling beetle, and so I literally threw everything off, got everything off the floor and shaking it out, putting it on the bed, and this, that, and moving stuff around, and it's like I don't know where anything is right now.
Sounds like
so
a shop.
yeah, so exactly. So let's see. All right. So, hey, what's up, Bill Corey? So yeah, I got a T-shirt from Hubcap. It says BigDaddyToolPimp.com. Isn't that right? It's BigDaddyToolPimp.com.
Yep.
And I went to that site. It doesn't exist.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was going to. Thanks for.
I don't know if he.
I was hoping it didn't redirect to quote unquote tiny URL.
Right. Hey, John Burnell.
Say nothing like trying to go visit your buddy's website, and turns out it's meatspin.com or some shit.
Yeah, PennIsland.com.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Penn Island.
Okay, so what is she up to now? I'm going to have to shorten that. So if I say up to, y'all know who I'm talking about. Not dissing long screen names, but makes it easier. But yeah, so that's kind of what's been going on over here. Like, I haven't even been able to really follow crypto. As you guys know, I've got several different stuff going on, and I tossed, not to go into crypto, but my spending crypto in my Coinbase app with my card and everything. I was in one. Actually, it was cool over the wedding weekend, and I shouldn't have done it because I was being distracted left and right. I had like $250 or something like that. No, I had like 350, and spent some with my brother. We went mall crawling, and brought that up to I think 560, and then because I was distracted, couldn't trade it out, and it dropped. So back down to 250. And then I just kind of froze all that, tossed it in US dollar, and got back here. And, on the way back, I'm like, I thinking, I'll have internet to pay attention. Tossed it into Loop Ring, and, at like a $1.50 per piece. And, and it was kind of a quite surprise because thinking I'd be able to pay attention to it, and looked at my, got a signal went up and got a signal and looked at it, and I had $875. And I'm like, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo, you know, and then I lost the signal and couldn't sell it, and now I'm down to $725. So it's like my crypto's been kind of a crazy roller coaster. Because I have
4.5, that's not bad. That's not bad there, Matt.
So, all right. Let's see.
The moment.
My USDC only makes like 2.5%. So.
Yeah. Well, if
I can see that someone made a new button app can hold a servant, and Wartree's working on what looks like a competition chopper. So what else is everyone up to?
yeah, sorry, and actually, yeah, we've got to switch to Metal of the Week soon too.
Yeah, we are getting into the second quarter.
Anybody up to some big awesome stuff before we jump into Metal of the Week?
Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah, I just I do have a jellyfish. Oh no, I do.
All right. Well, all right. So I'll
You're breaking up a little bit, Selbert.
category. One of them, huh?
You were breaking up just a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm not moving, so I'm just. There was a suggestion of Hardox, and so I started going with that one. And turns out it's a proprietary steel, and you can't find out anything about it. So I mean, yeah, unless you work for the company over there in I think it's Sweden, I think that makes it. Can't recall. I didn't write any of that down. But yeah, it's a proprietary blend, and I couldn't get anything out of it other than it's a wear resistant steel, kind of like the AR-500 stuff. And then the other one was boots, and man, that is a can of worms that is just going to take way too long. And so we're going to save Woots for a later date and a longer show, because that's a deep rabbit hole right there. So with that being said, this week I decided to just throw something that I didn't know anything about out there, and that's ADCRV2. And for some reason, I don't know why, I thought it was ADCRV20. I swear that's what I've always heard and seen. And then when I Googled that, Google corrected me, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
In any case, the exact particulars, it's sometimes called Swedish saw steel. It's produced in Germany, and the American AISI equivalent is L2. The only chemical difference between ADCRV2 and L2 is L2 contains 0.25% copper, and then I mean the rest of the metallurgy on the ADCRV2 is 0.8 carbon, 0.5 chromium, 0.4 manganese, 0.25 silicon, and 0.2 vanadium. It's got a maximum hardness of 57 to 58 HRC. It's said to be a little bit tougher than 5160, 01, and 1095.
So some good stuff.
And as far as where you would find it, this is actually particularly a knife steel. It is manufactured for making knives. Which I find, I mean, that is the primary. Yes, granted, you can buy some and do anything you want with it, but it is primarily manufactured with the intention of forming blades out of it.
So it's not like you can go like, I've got this car that I'm demoing, let me get some 80 CRV from the valve cap stems or something. You know, it's
no,
80...
you're not gonna find that. The only way you're gonna find scrap 80 CRV2 is by tearing up a knife that's made out of it.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
And The heat treat on it is fairly interesting, if not somewhat sophisticated. For small knife blades, it says a fast oil quench, not vegetable oil, by the way, is enough. But larger cross sections require a water quench. The heat is 1525, and I don't know what colors these are.
1525 is kind of a standard, if I may.
Okay.
1525 is also what A33 quenches at. It's like a mid-range orange.
Quenching.
Yeah, mid.
Okay, and so that's and it's a hold. Let it soak for 10 minutes at temperature. Quench it. Temper at 400 for 2 hours twice. Water cool in between the tempers. So it's a pretty standard and easy quench, and interesting stuff. I have never personally even seen any of this metal. I have consequently never worked with it. So I'd like to hear other people's thoughts on how it works, how it moves. Thoughts on a bit. Another thing I had was it's a very easy to sharpen steel because it does not have a very high wear resistance. So it will hold an edge for a while, but it's easy to sharpen right back up. So it's more of a tough steel. So,
Sure.
All right. That's all I've got on it, and
Yeah.
let's throw it around the room and hear people's opinions.
I will say again, hello to the people joining. Paul, Uncle Buck, what's up, Steve? And I have only ever heard of 80 CRV2. I've only ever heard of it being used in knife, blades. So, me not being a bladesmith, I've never looked into it further than that. So, absolutely, if you guys have any use, I think Dogbone Knives uses 80 CRV, but yeah, let us know about it. If you can either say it in the chat, you could say it in the Discord chat, or you could hop in and give us your opinion. Into the voice.
I have a bunch of 80 CRV too.
War Tree, here we go. He does blades.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Like the big blade I just posted. That's a 80 CRV too. I don't really know a whole bunch about the metallurgic aspects of it that I'm still learning, but it's fairly easy metal to forge on. Like it moves like butter when you forge on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. One of the easiest steels to move so far.
What's the ideal what's the ideal forging range or forging color for it? Like there's some steels, as you would know, particularly spring steels or knife steels, where you've got to get it right up to that orange white hot to forge, whereas there's some that you can forge right down into your reds and stuff like that. And Sam would know the exact words I'm looking for here, but hyper-eutectoid and hypo-eutectoid steels. He'll be so proud of hearing me say that.
The forgeability.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying I would call it the forgeability range.
The forgeability range.
Yeah, I just said that. I don't know if that's actually a thing, but like titanium, once it's not white hot anymore, it's too cold.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, that sounds like that's still like
with titanium, I get 3 or 4 hits, and I'm good with heat control. So, yeah, titanium it's easy to forge when it's at temperature, but it loses that temperature quickly. So the only
squirrel.
Okay, yeah. So 80 CRV.
But anyway, the forgeability range. You get it up to like the almost white hot, where you normally get your steel at, but you can work it down till it's like fairly cold. Like I work it down to basically a planishing heat. You don't want to wail on it, but under the light that I'm working on, it appears to be pretty much at a black heat almost. But when you turn the lights off, it's just barely a dull red glow by the time I put it back in forward.
Right.
But again, you don't want to like wail on it when it gets down to that heat. You just want to planish and even out. That
Nice.
stuff.
Yeah, I like a steel. I like a steel like that you can move down into the lower heats without it just stopping on you.
Oh yeah, and it's a really forgiving steel. Um, from what I've learned, I got a bunch of it basically on the recommendation of the Jason Knight video. And he explains a bunch about it. That's his favorite steel as well. And it moves like butter. It's very forgiving to work on, and you can work it down to a low planishing heat without really having to worry about it much. I have not had one crack yet.
Right.
When you're making their watery, what are you quenching in? Are you quenching like in a Horton's 50, or are you quenching in water, or a rice bran oil or something like that?
Right now, I am quenching in a bucket of old fried oil.
It seems like one of them steels that, like Sully said, for the fast quench that, while it requires oil, it's one of those that you can settle with oil or choose for an optimization.
See, and the spec data on it specifically said not vegetable oil. So I mean it just said a fast oil quench is enough, not vegetable oil, but larger cross sections need water. Which I don't know. I don't know what a small knife blade to larger cross section. That's all subjective. What's large and what's small to different people, that means different things. So I don't really know. So I took that to mean that if you're going to use water, you need to be using Parks 50. If you're going to be using oil, you need to be using Parks 50. I don't know. I mean, I've got a cylinder of vegetable oil, and I've got a bucket of water, and that's the only two things I use. So.
Yeah, that's what I got, and I haven't had any problems using vegetable oil at all.
That's what I got. I don't, judging by what that semi-educated understanding of blade steels and temperature quenching mediums. So the way I gather that would be that it says not vegetable oil, but it's one of those instances where, yeah, it'll work, but you can optimize it by using a specific viscosity to quench.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, so it sounds like one of those things where, you know what, yeah, you can get it to work, and it'll work fine.
It also comes down, and this comes from like my previous conversation with Sam, and of course, refer to Sam Towns for, confirmation on everything I'm about to say. But vegetable oils are kind of a medium speed quenchant. Like we know water's fast, brine is exceptionally fast. Whereas you start moving into your vegetable oils, and whilst they have a high flash point, they're kind of a medium speed quenchant. That's why they're good for your 1080s and your 1095s and 1070s and stuff like that, which need that medium speed quenchant. Of course, Park 50 is a really good, it's that step between water and the vegetable oils, in the sense that it's a fast to medium speed quenchant, and it's why it's really good for knife making, is because it does fit in that optimization point for a lot of spring steels, particularly your 80 CRV2s, and a lot of the other knives, the specialty knife steels you can get. That would be why the spec sheet would say not vegetable oil, probably because vegetable oil, as I said, is a medium speed quenchant, and for that optimization, it's slightly too slow to create the martensite in order to get the effective hardness out of the blade.
Right.
Let me make a slight correction. When I took my notes, I do all this in shorthand that I can read. And I shorthanded the vegetable oil, and I'm looking through it. It actually says not canola oil, so it specifically says canola oil, and I just shorthanded VEG. But I don't know if there's a difference between canola, corn, vegetable oil, whatever. I mean, I consider it kind of to be all the same thing. But the spec sheet says not canola oil, So I don't know if there's a difference in that or not, or if that's just what they said. So. Over.
Neil Vanderberg, and Neil Vanderberg hates canola oil quenching.
Somebody asked, I think Uncle Buck asked where you can buy the Parks quenchants, and I just looked it up, and looks like usknifemaker.com, knifemaking.com, Talk, no, that's a group. Amazon, Anvil Fire, that's info. Yeah, so you pretty much, it seems like you can look up the Parks lines, the Parks quenchant line, and find kind of what you need.
Yeah, I know around me, like there's a place up there by Bloobs that sells it. I think it's I can't remember if it's Texas Farrier Supply or West Texas Farrier Supply. I don't, whatever it is. I'm pretty sure they carry 5-gallon buckets of it. And that's here in Texas. And the place that I get my stuff up in Mineral Wells, which is kind of the same. Okay, the place in Amarillo is Wellshod, and then the place in Mineral Wells is West Texas Farrier Supply. But they both carry Parks 50, and that's like the only two blacksmith supply places in Texas. And so if you're in Texas, that's where you can get it locally and not shipped. But other than that, I mean, you can buy it online and have the UPS man drop it off at your front door, of course.
Yeah.
You can get it from Gamaco Knife Supplies. I'm pretty sure, I can't remember, I know they changed their name, but Creative Man, one of the suppliers for Sam and Alex, I'm pretty sure he supplies it as well. I know they just changed, Nordic Edge is what they've changed themselves, Nordic Edge Knife Supplies now, so I'm pretty sure you can get Parks 50 from them as well. So if you're in Australia or New Zealand, those would be your contacts there as well.
If I may.
Blue, I apologize. I knew you were in Lubbock, and it's just like, I don't know, I'm used to like Lubbock and Amarillo. It's like, to me, I consider it like the same place. I realize it's like an hour and a half apart. I mean, that's just, I go to work and I drive, I leave here at the yard and I drive 5 or 6 hours to go do my job, and then drive 5 or 6 hours. I mean, it's all the same place to me. But yeah, I missed you by an hour and a half there.
Hey, Wayne.
For me, it's an 8-hour drive round trip to go up there to Amarillo to go look at their stuff, and so sometimes it's like 8-hour round trip, or just order it online.
So I would like to sidestep real quick, because we are talking a lot of good information coming through right now, and it got brought up. Up to goes, I'm learning a lot listening to y'all, and I'm used to being around smithies. So yeah, and that tied in with trail dust. Going, it amazes me that other people can look up the answers while I'm still trying to figure out the questions. That's what this community situation. Oh, and hello, Dana. And that's what this whole community situation is all about. Like, that's why in a group situation, say like some of the Facebook groups, you ask a question like, "Oh, just Google it." Well, they don't know the question. Like the way they're phrasing the question may not come up in Google, because it requires that knowledge that somebody else has for the phrasing to search. Like if you search what metal is good for blades in Google, you're going to get links to all these forums and everything to ask that question. And then you go to them and they say, Google it. And it's like, well, I just did, and this brought me here. So yeah. It's like,
or it gives you 15 places that are selling it.
Yes.
And
you don't know what.
And that's kind of sifting through Google to get beyond the sales and the forums to find out like specs, information stuff. Sometimes it takes a little bit of effort, and I mean, like with the metal of the week, that's kind of what I do. I'll sit down for a couple hours and I'll sift through all of that stuff and kind of hit both the people that are selling it, the people in the blades forums that or the metal forums that are talking about it, the manufacturers spec sheets, what the manufacturers say about it, and kind of put all that together and condense it down. And I mean,
yes,
I'd like to think I'm providing a little bit more concise information than I mean, in 15-20 minutes than I don't know, whatever.
And the thing is on that, Sully, is exactly what I'm saying. You know, because you've been in the community for quite a while, you know what questions to ask a search engine, and you know that if you're not getting the answers you're looking for, how to tweak the question to get what answers you're looking for, because you know the terminology. Like people that are new to it have no idea of the terminology, and on certain Facebook groups they get blasted for asking dumb questions because they don't know the terminology, So yeah, it's why this Discord is so important. It's why this show is so important, and things like the Forge Chat, Forgecast are so important. And being a part of the live stream community is so important, because you can, right there, nobody here is going to sit there and trash talk you for not knowing what you're talking about. They'll try and help you get to, like, it's think of it this way. Think of it stairs. Everybody's on a step, on a level. And there are people that are so far above me, and there are people that are so far below me, I reach up to ask for help from up here, and I take that information and, reach down to help somebody down there. That's how a teaching and learning and community works, Yeah,
the only stupid questions there are the ones that don't get asked.
Exactly. With the exception of, and I have, being an admin, having been an admin for several Facebook groups, you do get the occasional people that will continuously, purposely rile up the crowds by asking, legitimately stupid questions, and you look into their conversation history, and they've asked the same question and received the same answers.
Yeah, and it's all about friggin' railroad spikes.
Yeah, in 6 different groups, every 3 weeks they'll ask the same question just to piss people off, And it's like, with the exception of that, the trolls, it's
pretty much.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what we're here for, guys, is to spread the knowledge. That's the idea of this Metal of the Week, is maybe you haven't heard of this and here's some information on it. Maybe you've heard of it, want to know more about it, but don't exactly know how to begin. And Sully has taken it up to him to provide you guys, maybe not with an exact in-depth, here's a spec sheet so that you know every single thing about it, but you can recognize what he's told you when you're searching for it and looking up, doing your own research, so that you know that little bit more to ask.
Right, and I mean, and I can go through an entire darn spec sheet, but I mean that's to me, I that means something, but to most people, it's it's just like Charlie Brown's teacher, wah 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 wah.
Yeah. And yeah.
I have a question that I would like to pose, and it's all just, this is all just maybe theoretical. So I mentioned that ADCRV20 is specifically manufactured in Germany, and the U.S. manufactured equivalent AISI is L2. The only difference being 0.25% copper. What differences do you suppose that 0.25 copper would impart to the quality of the steel? Because there is no, I don't have an answer for this. I'm not asking a question like a quiz. I'm asking, spitball it around. What do you think? Does it make any discernible difference?
I would think it does.
I would think it adds that
ductility.
Well, you were saying that it will hold an edge, and it's extremely easy to resharpen. You know, I would think that it adds that feature, that factor to it. It allows it to hold an edge, even though it wears faster than, say, something like maybe D2, which is a die steel, die and tool steel. It adds that easeability of abrasive sharpening. I would think that's a complete semi-educated metallurgical guesstimation. You know,
I would say that's pretty spot on, and I have kind of an example just from my old job at the pipe mill. The steel that we got for our pipes was like 5% copper, and they added that to the steel to, you know, make it so it's more ductile. You know, these things have to hold, the pipes had to hold like 40,000 pounds of pressure per inch for water pressure. So the copper just kind of added that little bit of strength there, little ductility, so it wouldn't like crack or anything.
right. John Brunell brings up another interesting possibility for the copper added to a steel in the mix. Is most commonly added to reduce corrosion.
That was something I was gonna say, and John Brunell brought it up, was due to reduce corrosion. What was the chromium content in it there, Sully?
The chromium was 0.5%.
Yeah. So in conjunction with the chromium, I'd say it's probably for corrosion resistance, and Wayne just said as well, copper, it also helps limit carbon migration during heat treatment. I don't think for hardness. It might add something to the toughness, being some ductility, but I don't think for hardness or anything like that. It's considering it's 0.25%. It's not in a percentage range. It's less than 1%. It's it's not really adding. It's not really taking away from anything. It's probably negligible in the hardness scales and stuff like that. But it's probably to do with a bit more of the anti-corrosion and the helping maximize ductility.
Paul Orchard says it helps bind the alloy together. I mean, and here's, if I may, here's another good cross-section example of a community. We all hear different things, opposing but similar information, and these are all things that you can, if you're so inclined, you can go, hey, I hear that copper binds the alloy together. I hear that copper strengthens the edge. I hear, or makes the edge easier to sharpen. Or I hear that copper prevents, helps prevent corrosion, yada yada, etc., etc. You can take that knowledge and kind of zero in closer on the truth, Or you can call the people who make it and be like, why do you guys put copper in the steel? And they go, oh, because, But
called the jelly bean theory there, Yames, and even though it's kind of slightly off on a tangent, I'm sure most people in the chat and most people on the voice chat have been to a county fair or something like that. Am I correct? And particularly when you're young, do you ever see those jelly bean counting contests?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you guess the amount of jelly beans in a jar. So the jelly bean theory is that if you had 1,000 people actually give an answer for that, right, and you added up all those answers and averaged them out, those averages, the average number is actually generally either spot on or almost exactly the right number.
Right.
So so all these, and the great thing about this community, as you were just saying, all these people that hear slightly different things and stuff like that, a general consensus across the board, because we have so many different sources that we've heard it from, we can fairly confidently say our information should be mostly accurate.
Right. Hey Ben. Hey Ben. Uh, uh,
I would like to point. Chewy said that it's that it's abrasion resistant. It specifically is not abrasion resistant. That's why it sharpens very easily. That was actually mentioned in the manufacturing data. It is that it is a very poor abrasion resistant steel.
hey Rob. Yeah, it takes to the sanding very well. Takes to filing and tooling very well.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that is very true.
But yeah, you know what? Thanks to Ben, I'm gonna start calling Sully Taz.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat, man. Whatever floats your boat.
Buoyancy floats my boat. Uh, oh, I actually got. Speaking of community and everything, I got a sweet comment on a video, and I haven't. I also got an email from Trail Dust, and I haven't. I've been slowly, getting back into having internet. So, and I'd like to thank Robert Whitney for this comment. Actually, a lot of people. Well, Robert Whitney goes, Yams, you're one of the priorities, but you're not the internet's priorities. Hang in there. We'll be here, or I'll be here when you get back. Thanks, man. So, yeah, through my internet troubles, a lot of y'all messaged me, and it was really sweet to hear the support and some people's anger at the internet. It was like, it's not my choice. But yeah, I know Trail Dust emailed me with a cool idea. I don't know how well it would work. It's a quad state idea. One of the I don't know if I'm going on a squirrel tangent here or not. My brain just clicked and goes, "Oh, hey." But,
no, I mean we can definitely organically just roll around. I mean it's we're out of the meat of the matter on the ADC RV2.
True.
So we can just organically roll around now. I mean we can talk about that or anything else. It doesn't matter.
True. So yeah, Trail Dust had the idea for Quad State. You noticed that it was really difficult, like after Quad State, it was people talking in comments. Yeah, I was here. Oh, I didn't see you. Oh yeah, I was blah blah blah. And it's like sort of a check-in post for those of us in the internet community, where you have like a forged name tag, and kind of like a journeyman's post where it's covered in spikes, where you take and hang your name on it, so that people know you're there. And it's like, that's not really something that we can necessarily set up unless we, I don't know if Uncle Bucks is going to be setting up there again next year or not, but, there'd be something to get with like Sofa and be like, hey, can we have like a check-in post where you hang your name on it and everybody can go up and check the name, and, that would be like a meeting spot. Yeah, meet me at the check-in post. So that people know who's there. But, so that, yeah, I guess, I don't know. It was a neat idea, but, I don't know how the logistics behind it might be interestingly difficult. But, yeah. Yeah, everybody was congregating around the Hans demo. Yes, thank you, Speed. What?
I was gonna say, John, it's not necessarily over. It's just like I don't intend for Medal of the Week to take up the entire show. So it's like we do 15 minutes and then we get into it, and yeah, we gotta have some substance at the beginning and the end. But 80, I mean the Medal of the Week can carry over in bits and pieces throughout the whole thing. So. I mean, if you got something to say about it, by all means, or anybody else. I mean, you can still throw something in there, and we can cuss and discuss or what have you.
Yeah, it's organic. We bring it up and then discuss it organically, and it being my first week back or first day back after 2 weeks without internet, I'm kind of so many things that have gone through my head. Like I completely forgot about. I woke up from a dream, I woke up one morning and turned on my computer, and this was on my keyboard. Just something apparently I woke up in the middle of the night, drew down, and for something to try and forge, and it's like I don't remember drawing it, but I kind of want to make it, and I don't know exactly what it is or how to do it, but I also have an idea for a cross section I could draw out, but I'd have to make a spring swage die for it. But let me draw the cross section.
I'd like to add just on the copper and steel bit. I posted a link in the Island Metal Forge chat on Discord, and I also posted the link in the YouTube chat, but it does not look like it's clickable. So you can find it in the Discord. Go ahead and click that if you're interested in copper and steel.
Ah, yes.
See, and it never really occurred to me of having copper in steel. I mean, that's just like, in my mind, it's ferrous and non-ferrous. They don't alloy. One floats above the other, but that's not necessarily the way it goes. So.
And I guess that's why they do add it to the steel, because from if I understood it correctly in that link I posted, they add that because it goes to the surface of the steel and adds a barrier for corrosion.
So it kind of migrates outwards then.
Yeah, it does not interact with the carbon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just added that link for you because I'm an admin, so
I see that. Thank you.
So that now it's clickable in the YouTube chat as well for those that want to copy and paste later.
I would click it, but to bring it up on screen here, I would have to make a bunch of changes to settings, and I'm not going to do that right now. I'd click it and I can see it, but if y'all are interested, save that link for after the show. All right, I saw a couple. All right. Yes, don't forget Steel of the Week suggestions in the Metal of the Week area. You guys can put your suggestions right here. Let's see. What's up, Josh? How you doing, man?
Next, spoiler alert. Next week, I mean, I've already got next week lined out. It's going to be one of my favorite metals, titanium. So that's why I was giving you the squirrel thing earlier when you started going off on titanium. I'm like, wait, I'm planning on doing titanium next week. So.
Cool. I just did some titanium rings. Can't you put your name on the check-in post and kind of a shingle to say where your spot is? The tough thing about that up to is several people don't actually camp on location. They'll either have a hotel room nearby or a camp over, like us in the Quad Squad, we camp over at the coffee grounds. And that's kind of like a private residence, and so when we show up like arm lock and do the whole walk down, like freaking clotheslining people down the road, and kind of take over like a bunch of angry biker gang kind of thing, but no. So yeah, I mean, you can absolutely, but trying to find there's so many spots, and I don't even know the layout of the place. So if I were to be like, oh yeah, up to is at spot 6B, red tent, I'd look over in the 6 area, find the B area, and look at like 17 red tents and be like, I ain't gonna walk over there.
Yeah, bore. You mentioned, doesn't copper prohibit forge welding? Now that is something I've always heard, and I have tested myself, and I have been unable to forge weld in the presence of copper. I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm saying I have been unable to make that happen. So I'm not going to say it can't be done. I'm saying I can't do it. So that's all I know about that. But I would think in as a trace element in steel, I don't think it would make that much difference. But I do know if I slack off or slap off a little bit of copper beads off of my ground rod into my coal forge, I'm not forge welding nothing until I clean it out. I mean, I could try, but if I'm gonna be throwing it across the shop in short order.
Speaking of dirty welds and such, so let me find it. I don't even know where it could be. In was it materials? I don't know. Somewhere in here in this massive chat that we have set up, there was questions from Cardsmith or Cardtown Cards about cable Damascus. He had recently picked up some cable from one of the shipwrecks down the beach. He lives near me. He's part of my guild and everything, and he was trying to figure out. He's a young kid trying to learn bladesmithing, and he wants to do cable Damascus and various types of Damascus and whatnot. And he was asking in here, which is a great place to ask, about how to do cable Damascus. And one of the members here gave him this laundry list of processes and what you need to do in order to achieve cable Damascus. And I said, coming up, I'm going to show you how to do it dirty, you know. And took and basically just grabbed it with the tongs, put it in the fire, took it out, and did that a few times, and boom, built a cable Damascus. I don't know why that came to my mind. And I tried the same thing shortly after Tim did the dirty Damascus, and I thought, well, heck, I can make that happen. And no, it didn't work. I got the outside to forge weld, but the center core, it was just one big cold shut all the way down it. I did not get the center to forge weld, and I was like, really disappointed. But to me,
that sounds like it was like rope core or something.
No. It's none of my stuff is rope core.
Yeah, I haven't seen rope core. The only rope core I've ever seen was elevator cable that somebody gave me.
Yeah, all of my cable comes off of my truck. So.
Right on.
Yeah, a lot of the cable around here, unless it's elevator cable, a lot of the cable that is around here is marine cable, and rope core cable would just deteriorate too quickly. So yeah, no, that's what it was, because forge welding in like extreme circumstances with like issues in the steel and whatnot. I just got an email. Issues in the coal forge and whatnot. We talked once about have you tried forge welding with copper impurities in the coal, and I believe you said you had tried and you absolutely could not do it. And that's what got me thinking, like, oh yeah,
that is my experience.
Yes.
With the attempt.
Yeah, and that's what got me thinking about, the whole cable Damascus, gotta soak it in CLR, gotta scrub it, gotta untwist it and scrub it more, and then, retwist it, and then add borax, and then untwist it, and then add more borax, and then twist it tight, and then you gotta, do this, and then you gotta do that, and then you gotta do this, and that. It's like, and you were saying when you have tried and you couldn't get the center to weld, to me, in my experience with, because even the big stuff that you've given me and that John Coffey has given me, let it soak. I let it soak for 15 minutes and make sure that the entire thing is an even temperature, and I go up real slow up to welding temperature, and I've even the stuff that you've given me and the stuff that John's given me, I have forge welded dirty,
Right. And to be fair, the cable that John gave you is cable that I left there too. I mean, that's all that same stuff, 1045-ish truck cable, and it's what is it? I think it's all 1 1/8, 1 1/16, and 1 1/4. So I got 3 different sizes there. And the one that I tried to do dirty was 1.5 inches, I believe, but it was drill line. I actually got it off a drilling rig. They had a big old chunk of drill line. Well, I mean, they always cut a certain amount off after so many, what do they call it, pound miles or I don't know. Anyways, they cut off a little bit of drill line every time, and I took some home one time thinking it'd be great to make Damascus out of it. And yeah, not so much.
No.
Right.
Talking about dirty forge welding and stuff like that. I can't remember who it was, but I did watch a Smith many years ago. And they did a little YouTube documentary about forge welding with copper in the forge in a solid fuel forge. Now, it can be done, and I've seen it done. I saw it done in this documentary. I've watched it a few times because I'd heard as well that it gets very difficult to do, and that is true. It can be difficult, but when it comes to when you're doing forge welding, it really comes down to you want to minimize as many variables as possible in order to ensure success of your forge weld. So if you know your fire's clean, you know your clinker's out, you know you've got good surfaces and all that type of thing, it's going to be easier. But we've all seen Roy can just about forge weld anything. The Dirty Smith can just about forge weld anything. So it comes down to
throw me in there.
Yeah, well, you can. I've seen you forge weld some horrible steel there, so it comes down to your preparation. The more you can minimize those variables in what you're doing, the easier it's going to be for you to forge weld. Second thing is Chewy posted a question a little bit earlier saying, okay, so what flavor of steel would you all suggest to make a good knife for skinning a deer that's going to hold up for most or all of the deer? Now, 80 CRV, of course, is a really good steel for knife making. So therefore, it would make a really good skinner. It depends on, from my experience, and Watery, I encourage you to jump in on this question, mate. But in my experience, it also depends on what level of knife making you're up to. I mean, you can look at your W2s and stuff like that, which are very tough steels and great for knife making as well, if you're more of an experienced knife maker. If you're brand new to it, and these are your first knives, I of course would recommend something like an 80 CRV2 or a 1080, 1074, 1095, stuff like that. So those steels that are easier to work, and you can use a traditional shape, and you can get that practice down, and they will still last you a good long time and still be a decent knife.
What he said.
Yeah. Yep, what he said. Spot on.
Yeah. Man, I'm looking at the time. I want to keep going.
How long have we been at?
An hour.
We're right at the hour mark.
But BC said something that wanted me to go. That's begging me to go into it as well. He's convinced that 80% of welding problems people have in a forge is oxidization.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, that tends to be my issue.
I've had more issues with timing and heat than oxidization. Because, as you guys know, I weld dirty, and that's pure laziness. Admittedly, it's pure laziness.
You dirty metal welder.
Yeah, it's pure laziness. I ain't going through those steps. Screw that. And when I do have any failed welds, it's either I was too slow in the heat or too fast in the heat and didn't get it thoroughly heated, or trying to rush things because I'm lazy, or my speed was just a little too slow and it cooled down just a bit too fast. Again, the difference between me having practiced extensively with dirty welding compared to somebody who's just learning. Yeah, I do agree that as you're learning forge welding, the biggest setback is oxidization and learning how to deal with it. Flux, if used properly, is excellent for deterring oxidization.
And speaking of that, I mean, like, you'd think it couldn't be done, but I stood right there at Quad State, and I watched a certain someone forge weld at a red heat. And, I mean, just blew my mind. I was like, huh.
Yeah. I haven't done that yet, I don't think.
I haven't tried it either, but I mean, it just is like, and, well, okay, I guess it was Brian Brazil, but he was right next to where we were, and yeah, he's just like, there you go, Iron Mountain Flux stuck at a red heat. It's like, huh.
Oh,
that was
okay.
weird.
So Bill Corey means too much oxidization in the fire isn't too much airflow, too much oxygen in the fire. I can't think of the term. Not a neutral fire, not a reducing fire, an oxidized fire, an oxygen-rich fire. Yeah, what I do, my process for forge welding temperature, bringing something to forge welding temperature, is I will get it to be over, then I'll cut the air and let it soak for like 2 or 3 seconds to remove that, oxygen so that it burns back to the proper temperature, and then out, tap, 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 back in, air back on. I'll rarely let the piece get below yellow while doing the set weld thing that I do. Hey, what's up, Lindsay?
Yeah. There you go. Big Dog's got it right there. I mean, I don't know. I was having a conversation.
Hey, Big Dog.
And I watched Brian pull it out of the fire. He tapped it 3 times, and he said, "There you go, welded it at a red heat." And people say it can't be done, and I was like, "Huh." And I wasn't watching the whole demonstration. I just happened to look over while he did that, and it blew my mind. And that is the information I had on it, and he was using Iron Mountain Flux.
Yeah. Black or white?
Weird that he scared the steel into doing it.
He had the black.
Yeah, scared the steel. I think that's what it is. Tim, how you doing, man? And Lindsay, Wawa. I just got internet back the other day. I want to get a hold of little Zach and peel some potatoes, so to speak. Shoot the.
Brazil sorcery.
Yeah. So I don't know what I've got planned for today, but at some point I'm going to be trying to get him on a video chat. But
good morning, Tim.
Yes. So, what's up, little Zach?
Chewy said before, would 5160 be fine, leaf springs? Guys, if you're starting out in knife making, being a scrapsmith and working with found steels is absolutely fine.
Mm-hmm.
There's no, it's at the end of the day, this hobby or vocation of ours can be expensive enough as it is without throwing money into steels. Now, using known steel, using 1080s, 1075, 80 CRV2s and stuff like that is great, because it means that when you're doing something and learning how to move that steel, you're knowing exactly how to heat treat it and all that type of thing. But if you're still learning how to shape those knives and stuff like that and get and move the metal way you want, guys, use scrap. It's okay. You're not making these things to sell. You're making them for your own personal use or your own personal pride. Using some scrap to get that done is fine. I do it, and even some of the big names in knife smithing will do it. And again, if you're making knives to sell, that's an entirely different matter. Using known steel is a beneficial thing. But when it comes down to what you're doing, starting out, practicing whatever you can use and experiment with found steels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm one of those of the school of thought. If you want to do something, just do it. Just do it. I mean, if you want to get into blacksmithing, bladesmithing, whatever, and you'll have that crowd that tells you, no, in order to do this, you have to do this, this, and this. In order to do it, you have to have this, this, and this. You can't do it with this, this, and this. When the answer is even less than shouldn't do it. But, like, by their school of thought, if you don't have this, this, and this, why try? Grab a piece of steel, do it. If you want to learn bladesmithing and the shaping and then the forging process of shaping a blade, it's totally fine to even do a mild steel blade, to practice and to learn the steps and processes of actually forging something out of steel, learning the heat, learning where you need to hit, how hard you need to hit, this, that, the other thing, and then moving into steels that actually have a process to make it a blade, but you'll have people that say, no, you can't. It's totally different using mild steel. It moves totally different than this. If you're using the right heat, everything moves the same, to me.
Yeah.
If you're using its correct heat, everything moves the same. Using mild steel, I'm saying that to practice the actual act of forming.
No, I'd like for me, I like to do, because I'm nobody. As far as blacksmithing goes. I mean, I like to do stuff that people say you shouldn't do or whatever. I like to test the boundaries of what can and can't be done, and I have great fun doing that. And 9 times out of 10, when people say, well, you can't do this that way, and a lot of times they're right, and I just have to see for myself. Like the whole I don't even know. I know I made a video, I don't know if I ever posted, about can you forge weld with copper in the forge, and I was like, I'm gonna find out. And then I tried my butt off and was unable to make it happen. Not that it can't be done, like I said. I mean, then like some of the guys were saying earlier, like that it can be done. And I mean, like, I'm just saying I wasn't able to do it, but and even though I failed at it, I had great fun trying it.
I might do that.
And I do that with a lot of different things. I'm like, you know what? I've never heard of anybody doing this, or I've never seen anybody do this. I'm gonna try it and see what happens. And yeah, and I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, I make a big old pile of hot garbage, but I have fun doing it.
Yeah,
Question for you.
At risk of it, not working and then completely contaminating my fire pot. I had the thought, maybe Wednesday I'll take a coil of copper wire and set it in my forge and attempt forge welding. Take the whole show if I have to, and attempt to forge weld with copper wire in my forge. It may not work. It may be an exercise in futility, but I think it'd be entertaining as hell to try. My only worry would be that the copper would melt and coat the inside of my fire pot, thereby rendering it forever useless to forge weld with.
Yeah, it won't stick. It beads up right in the bottom, and you can just reach right in there and pluck them out.
Okay, so be worth a shot.
I've done that many times. When I go to dig the clinker out, a lot of times the little copper beads are stuck to the clinker.
Okay, so it's not a permanent screw up.
Nope.
Okay,
It'll drip down in like like running molten copper, and it'll cool once it gets past down to the where the air below the fire, because the fire is not exactly right on your tuyere, and so once it gets past the fire, the air pretty much just solidifies the copper before it even touches your tuyere or your fire pot. And I mean, and I'm speaking from personal experience.
Okay.
And even in my gas forge, I can just reach in, and after it's cooled off, of course, I can just reach in and pick the copper beads.
Oh. Oh. So.
Question for you all.
So yeah.
What is the difference between an iron, a raw iron knife, a mild steel knife, and a carbon or a knife steel knife? What is the actual difference?
Well, the actual difference is one is made from wrought iron, one is made from mild steel, and one is made from high carbon steel. That's the actual difference.
Hold on. The actual difference is a minimum of 0.4% carbon.
All that means is that a high carbon steel knife will hold an edge longer, and will last longer, flexibility, durability wise. But a lot of people forget, and the reason why, backing up Yamez saying, shaping knives and stuff like that made from mild steel, backing up his comment, is that when we were moving from the Bronze to the Iron Age, and before high carbon became a common thing, weapons and knives and utensils were made from raw iron and what would be considered mild steel. So you can make a decent knife out of that. It just won't last as long.
It would need to be sharpened
or
regularly.
as well as exactly as a high carbon steel. So you can do it quite well. Just remember that, guys. Anyone that says you can't do it doesn't pay attention to history.
They're speaking in a modern terms only, as opposed to a literal term. Literally, you can make a knife out of anything that you can shape a knife out of. You can take and make a micarta blade. You can take I've seen people take and you can make a wood blade, and it will cut and it will damage and it will be a good blade until it's not. Stone blades have been around. Remember the Stone Age? So yeah.
Yeah, I've got a 7,000-year-old knife that still cuts pretty darn good.
Yeah, so those who this is one big reason why I pulled away from a lot of the Facebook groups is you get people asking questions like that. Hey, it's like I'm going to use mild steel for a knife. Oh, you absolutely can't do that. Yes, you can. You absolutely can't do that. They just want to show off the information that they've learned. They fail to tell you that historically, like he just said, like Speargrass just said, it's like, yes, you can, but it's not a modern ideal blade. The question wasn't, I want a perfectly modern ideal blade. The question was, can I make a blade? And that goes into and specifics.
A good example of that is the obligatory spike knife. I mean, everybody makes one eventually, or and most people sooner rather than later. And I mean, it's mild steel. I mean, I've done quite a bit of aggressive cutting with a spike knife, and I mean, like and I sharpened it to the point where it'll shave. Now, will it retain that edge for a long time? No, but for while it is sharp, it will mess you up if you mishandle it. And so yes, you can. I mean, and a railroad spike is just kind of like the epitome of the thing you're not supposed to make a knife out of, and or you can't call it a knife because you can't harden it. That whole nonsense. Well, whatever. If it's so I can cut my steak with it, but it's not a knife, or I can skin a deer with it, but it's not a knife.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
That's a knife. I had to do it.
It's
too much fortune fire.
That's a whole. That would be a whole show topic alone, Like, screw a Medal of the Week topic. That would be a whole show topic alone. And I believe we've done it before.
We have.
But it's a good reminder to say and get that, like Roy says. He said once that oh, I don't use flux, and then. From here on out and forever, Roy hates flux. Roy bathes in flux. He dips his. Even when he's not welding, he dips everything in flux. He'll take it he'll take it a handful and then pack it around what he's working on.
But I heard Roy does snuff like Copenhagen, flux like Copenhagen. Just put a pinch right up in his lip there and gets to work.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just that's one of those topics that just could take forever, and and has, and yeah. But
You know, the flux jokes will never die. I'm sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure that is a permanent staple of Christ Centered Ironworks now.
Hold on. We actually have a GIF for it too. Nope. Oh, it's so small. Metal glue.
Where'd you put it?
It's in the out of the middle forge thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The
The metal glue borax. But I will say though, it is 11:21. I have not received notice about working today, but I do know that I have things that I need to do today. And I don't know if Jeannie is waiting on me going or not. So I am going to call this a show and go figure out what's going on for the day. If I have time, I will come back for the after chat. The after chat is something that occasionally happens where those in the Blacksmiths Church voice chat continue talking for anywhere for up to 5 to 10 minutes to 5 to 10 hours. So, and
that is not an exaggeration.
And that is not an exaggeration. And anybody is welcome to hop in the Blacksmiths Church voice chat after the show and hang out. You know, it's one of those things where I'm not hosting it. It's just there. You can hop in these voice chats in the Discord whenever you want. Say, I'm just going to throw out random names here. Say Granddad's Forge and John Burnell decide to, you know what, every Tuesday at noon we're gonna do a get together in the Blacksmiths Corner voice chat where we're just gonna sit there and bullshit about blacksmithing stuff, and anybody who wants to join can do it. That's what this is for. If I had the time, I would host something like that, and where it's not a live streamed event, where it's just literally popping in the voice chat and hanging out and chatting and asking questions and whatnot. So, and how to get into a voice chat is you click on. Let me get out of it real quick. Sorry, guys. Disconnect. So, let me zoom in on this. Alright, if you guys can see me, you find the voice chat that you want to join, and you click on it. And well, I think mine is set to auto connect. And then down here there will be join and all sorts of options. And this is on the computer. On the phone screen, it's a little bit different, but it's the same concept. There'll be a join the chat button and whatnot. So, yeah. So, me and Rob has created this tool for us to use. Use it. Show that it's worth it. And also, there's something called server boosts. And you boost the server, and you get extra features. You get custom stickers and emojis, and you can host events in higher quality, and let me see, all sorts of different things. And let me see, yeah. So it's fun stuff. But yeah. I am going to, like I said, call that a show and go check on what the schedule for the day is. And I do also have some stuff to do later on, but it depends on what we're doing first. If I have time, I'll jump back into the after show chat, and I would like to take a moment and thank Sully for his steadfast and hardcore research into the Metal of the Week. I'm loving this format for it, and I hope you guys are too. Everybody take a moment, thank Sully for it, and I'd like to thank everybody who joined the chat and sits here and talks in my ear.
Yeah, thanks everybody for showing up. I do hope you enjoyed it at least a little bit. I really enjoy researching these metals, and even the ones that I think I know something about, because really the only metal I've ever dug deep and researched prior to doing this was 4140. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys are too, and thanks for coming.
Yeah, I happened to be up early enough to catch it and jump in. Yeah, thank you for having me in the church today.
Yeah, man.
Thank y'all for watching too.
Yep.
It was great.
I think I figured it out.
Welcome, John Brunel. In about 30 seconds or so, you will officially have joined the after chat, and I think that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it the after chat.
Hey, we could take a page from Chris Hardwick and call it Talking Church. Because there's Talking Dead or whatever after The Walking Dead. We call it Talking Church, or I don't know.
After chat. I like after chat sounds, because it's like an after party.
No, the after chat is fine. I was just trying to.
The aftermath.
And while Lindsay and Zach, you guys are more than welcome to hop in. These are all my friends. These are the people that I associate with the most, and I got to spend an awesome weekend hanging out with you guys and your friends and getting to know them. You guys are family. These guys are family. You guys can hop in and get to know the people that I know. Wawa Skittles and Tolchins 39 are my brother and sister-in-law, or my brother and my sister-in-law. So, with that, guys,
on YouTube or on Discord?
On Discord. Well, they're on YouTube right now, but they both are on Discord. Wawa Skittles actually has a Twitch channel where she games and streams gaming and stuff. Although I think she's getting back into it now that the wedding is over. I don't know. You'd have to ask her. But yeah. And any of you guys who are into gaming, I'd check her out.
Oh, look, squirrel.
Anyway, yeah, I have to end it and go find out what I'm doing for the day. Squirrel. Thank you. But if I have some time, I'll be hopping back into the after chat. So, yeah, I will be back, everybody. I will talk to you guys in a bit. And heart and health. Thank you all for showing up. Much love. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you. And we're